Welcome to Guru's Real Estate Agent Coaching Radio. My name is Bill Zeltman, and we are here for the 8th episode. And today's title is "Habits are the secret to a realtor's success." And habits truly are the secret for any realtor that's in this business. The best of the best have habits that they follow every day. You can watch. I have a video series of the 32 habits of successful realtors. And what I've done is I've looked across realtors across the country, which is what I studied when I wrote my training program. It's what I still continue to study to see what they're doing every day. What do top 10% of realtors do every day? What makes them different? And what things do they all have in common? Because by finding the common threads of what they do and what they have in common, and if you implement them as a realtor, guess what's going to happen? You're going to become a top 10 realtor. So that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. But the first thing I want to talk about is the importance of habits and routines. The best people in any business have habits and routines that they follow consistently. Take a professional athlete. A professional athlete goes through the same routine every day. A baseball player, maybe he'll take 100 swings every morning when they first get up. Take 100 ground balls if they're an infielder. A golfer may take a couple hundred swings a day and work on drills and work on techniques and work on things like that. A basketball player will take shots from different parts, certain number of shots every day. And they do the same things day in and day out. And it's for a realtor, it's the same thing. And if you look at realtors, just like if you look at most people that are athletes, you'll see that the ones that aren't those top stars, that number one player on the team or that number two player on the team, or that number one realtor in the office, that everybody else doesn't have or follow their habits and routines consistently. You'll see agents, just like you'll see athletes, that'll go on this tear practicing and for the realtor, this tear following their habits. And then what happens? They get busy with some business, or for the athlete, they have success in their field. And what do they end up doing? They end up resting on their laurels, right? Or for the real estate agent, they end up getting busy with a bunch of clients, and they fall away from their habits. What's important for you to understand is that you have to follow these. You have to create these habits, figure out what your habits are going to be, and we're going to talk about that probably today and maybe in the next podcast as well. Know what those habits are, put them into a schedule, and make them a routine every day in your life. So what are some of the things that realtors do every day, or what are the habits that they live every day that make them successful? Well, the first is extremely, extremely easy, and it's kind of the predecessor to all of your success, and that's to create and follow a schedule. Now, you may be saying, wow, Bill, this is your 8th podcast. You probably talked about following a schedule on 3 or 4 of them. Yeah, funny, isn't it? The reason is it's that important. The other reason that I say it over and over and over is you may be sitting there listening to this podcast saying, yeah, I know that. Okay, that's great. You know that. Are you doing it? Do you have a schedule? Do you have a set in stone schedule that has what you do at what times of the day, making sure you're doing the right number of hours of the right things? One of those most important things, like we talked about a few weeks ago in this podcast, and if you guys watch my videos, and again, you guys can follow my videos at America's Gurus. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on TikTok, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm anywhere that you can find me. Just go to America's Gurus and look me up, and you'll see my video series about the habits of successful realtors, and a bunch of other ones. But one of them that I talk about a lot is creating a schedule. Your schedule, I'm not going to go through the whole thing again because I'm sure, and you can always listen to the other ones. But one of the most important things in your schedule is that you spend 3 hours every day prospecting. If you spend 3 hours of prospecting every day and make that a habit, and don't do anything else I say, you're going to make $100,000, $200,000 in the next year in real estate if you do it day in and day out. So create a schedule. understand your schedule, understand the amount of time you want to be doing different things on your schedule, and get that set up. The second thing is to make prospecting your number one priority. You need to stick to your prospecting schedule. And that's actually, I do that over 2 videos if you watch my video series, but we're going to talk about both together here. You have to make prospecting your number one priority. You need to pick, again, 3 hours in your day that are completely uninterrupted for your prospecting. But a client called me during that time. But my broker called me during that time. But a mortgage person needed something, or a title person, or whatever else. No, ignore them. One thing in your life, everything in your life has an advocate. And what do I mean by that? It means everything in your life is pulling for your time. So if you have kids, Mom, can you come to my soccer game? Dad, can you throw me baseballs? Can you come to my, this event or that event? If you're married, your spouse, we haven't had a date night in a while. Everything in your life has an advocate for your time except prospecting. You have to be the advocate for prospecting's time. Nothing is going to disrupt me from the 3 hours that I spend every day on the phone. Is it 9 to noon? Is it 4 to 7? Do I split my time? Maybe I do 9 to 10:30 in the morning, and then maybe I come back and do 4 to 5:30 in the afternoon. But the fact is that is uninterrupted time. You don't check emails during that time. You don't check text messages during that time. And the only phone call that you ever answer during that time is if you called a prospect and they didn't answer, and that prospect called you back. They saw, oh, wait a minute, maybe they listened to your voicemail, or maybe they just didn't get to their phone in time. That is the only thing you call back. You don't call your kids back. You don't call your husband or your wife back. You don't call your broker back. You don't call the mortgage person back. You don't get involved in the fire that somebody has for you that we have to have this by 5 o'clock. No, I'm sorry, I'm not available until 5:30 when I have appointments, 4 o'clock to 5:30. I'm busy. I can deal with it at 5:31. You have to do this, guys. And then you need to stick with this day in and day out. So that's your time. You are unavailable no matter what somebody tries to do. Like, hey, can you come into a meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning? No, I can't. I prospect. 9 to 10 is one of my prospecting hours of the day. And you don't have to explain yourself. You can say, no, I'm sorry. I'm not available between 9 and 10. You don't even have to tell anybody why. But make it your number one priority. Stick with your schedule. The other thing that you're going to find with this too is that you're gonna sometimes feel distracted, and you're gonna sometimes have, again, you're gonna be like, oh God, I got this closing this afternoon. I don't have time for this. You need to put that out of your mind. You have to understand that the only reason you have a closing today is because you were prospecting 2 months ago. And if you want to continue to have a prospecting 2 months from now, you need to continue to prospect. So this is, guys, the number one, the glue, the entire thing of it. And I really want you to buckle down and make prospecting your number one priority, get it on your schedule, and then stick to that schedule. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to talk more about habits of successful realtors. One of the things we're going to get into is talking about your own brand and unique marketing strategy. I'm excited to talk about that. We'll talk about your daily priorities, and we'll talk a little bit about the scripts you're going to use and the scripts that the best realtors in the country use. You're listening to the Gurus Real Estate Coaching Radio. I'm Bill Zeltman. Again, you can follow me at America's Gurus. We'll be back right after this.
You are one of many realtors in your town. Most realtors use the same marketing tactics. They buy leads, door knock, send postcards. With no product differentiation, the client chooses the agent doing the most business. Why shouldn't they? That realtor uses the same marketing templates as you, but has proven to the client that they can get the job done with their track record of business. Meanwhile, you and the hundreds of other local realtors are all using the same marketing strategies and can't show that you're as successful as that top agent, while the client learns to ignore your efforts. This is where the My Town Gurus marketing and learning system comes in. We only work with one realtor per town, differentiating them as the digital mayor or guru of their town. How do we do this? We create a website and social media pages exclusively for your town. We include local news, events, and partner with local businesses to provide fresh, up-to-date content management on your website and social media sites. Next, we help you build a community on social media, creating a unique place where neighbors can meet and share local news, events, local happenings, heads-up notifications, job postings, advice, lost pets, remember whens, and more, all with you in the center of it. We then teach you how to leverage relationships with local business owners and community organizations. Our unique solution allows them to post on your webpage and social media sites for free and instantly builds value and trust while anchoring you as the local expert and a resource for your community. This makes relationship building simple with every business and community organization in your town and makes you the natural realtor for them to refer business to. Also included is our Step Ahead Real Estate Training Academy. Our industry-best online learning system and daily motivation videos teach you the skills you need to be a top realtor. There are 12 tracks of learning, 48 learning modules, and over 500 individual lessons and breakout sessions. This is the best educational system available to realtors, all included in the My Town Guru system. Stand out from the crowd and stop marketing your way to mediocrity. Become the official town guru of your town today. Contact us now for a free demo and to reserve your town. Hurry before it's gone.
Welcome back to Guru's Real Estate Coaching Radio. My name is Bill Zeltman. You can follow me at America's Gurus. Today we are talking about habits are the secret to a realtor's success. And we're talking about the habits that the top 10% of realtors across North America use to make themselves successful. We already talked about the importance of habits and routines, creating and then following a schedule, making prospecting your number one priority, and then sticking to your prospecting schedule. The next habit, and this, if you want to say, is it a habit or is it not? What is a habit? And I'm going to explain why. But you need to create your own brand and unique marketing strategy. And the reason this becomes a habit is because you need to habitually remind people of who you are and what makes you different, right? There are a ton of realtors in every marketplace in the Northeast. That's the way our business is. But there's enough business to go around, and there's certainly enough business to go around for the people that do the right things, that have those habits of successful realtors. So what you need to do is make yourself different. Set yourself apart from the competition. And you can do this in a lot of ways. If you guys have looked at, and you probably just heard the ad for the My Town Gurus marketing system, that's the whole premise on it, is to make you a local expert and the local expert of your town. So if all things are equal, in a town where let's just say I'm marketing myself, people are going to look to me, and then they're going to look at me, and then they're going to look at the realtor next to me, and the realtor next to me is doing what everybody else is doing, just putting their little listing on Facebook. Maybe they have a homeowner's tip here or there they're sending out. Maybe they're doing a postcard. And when they look at mine, it says I am the official town guru of the town I serve, putting me as the only one named in the town for this, touting me as the local expert, not just in real estate, but in everything else going on in the town. That's one way to do it. There are many ways, and you can be creative. For example, I had an agent that worked for me that decided he was going to market himself as the condo king. And what did he do? He put a crown on his head on his mailings. You should have seen that. But anyway, but you know what? It brought attention. It made people believe and know that he was the person that knew how to handle condominiums and townhomes when they were sold. He knew everything about the associations. He knew everything about the units. He knew the good, the bad, the ugly. He was the expert. So if you were a consumer in that marketplace, were you going to go to a regular agent, which, there's hundreds of, or this one person that set themselves apart as the condo king? Well, wait a minute, I'm selling a condominium. Wait a minute, I'm buying a condominium. Why wouldn't I use the person that specializes in that? You could specialize in 55 and over. Why not? This, hey, I specialize in senior housing, 55 and over, or older adults, I should say, housing. Set yourself up as the expert in that and build that as your niche. And again, continue to make that your unique marketing strategy that sets you apart from the masses. Most agents just want to be all things to all people. I do real estate here. I do real estate there. Yeah, I'm available for this. I'll do commercial. Why not? And they just try to be all things to all people. And what do they say? Jack of all trades, master of none. And in real estate, that can really come and bite you in the end because you're just one of a big number of agents that are out there. When you brand yourself and give yourself a unique marketing strategy, you set yourself apart from the pack. You set yourself apart from everybody else, and now people will start to pay attention to you, and people will use you as their realtor. So create your own brand. Be creative. Think about it. What do you want to call yourself? I know a guy in New Jersey that he's got a big thing. And he's got a wrap on his SUV and whatever, and his name's Rich. So he goes, "Get rich in real estate." That's his niche to get his name out there. When I first got in this business, I was, I'm a boater, so I was doing bayfront houses, and I called myself Bayfront Bill, and I got a bunch of listings that way, just by going and using that strategic marketing. So wait a minute, I want to sell a house on the water where I have a dock. Wait a minute, Bayfront Bill makes sense, right? Figure out what you want to do, brand yourself, and then again, make a habit of every time you refer to yourself and every piece of advertising that you use and everything else, refer to yourself as that, whatever that unique strategy is. The next thing I want to talk about, the next habit of highly successful realtors is the numbering your daily priorities. We started to talk about this a little bit when we talked about prospecting, but there are other things that happen in your day. I wish I could tell all of you guys to do nothing but be a telemarketer and do it for 8 hours a day. Problem is most of you wouldn't do it. It would burn out, so it's probably better off that way anyway. Of course, whatever you do of extra time, you should spend it on the phone or face-to-face with people prospecting. The other things that you have going on in your real estate business need to be numbered. So your number one priority every day is what? Making those phone calls, making those contacts, calling for sale by owners, calling your sphere of influence, calling expired listings, following up with a referral, working at local businesses, going to networking events where you're going to use my 3-3 rule, tell them who you are, what you do for a living, and if they or anybody that knows a real estate need, they should call you, collecting their information so you can put it in a database and follow up with them. That's your number one priority. What's your number two priorities? Well, your number two priorities are things like going on listing appointments, going on buyer's appointments, going to a closing. All of those types of things are the types of things that you want to be doing on a number two basis. Again, they're not as important. Going to a closing is not as important as making your phone calls every day. I know that's shocking to some people, but that's how it is. What's a number three priority? Number three priority is doing things like going through and checking your email, following up with a mortgage company, following up with a title company, following up with your clients. These are things that happen, okay, that you can do in less than an hour to 2 hours a day. And you want to keep your number three priorities down to about an hour a day if you can. Every once in a while, you may have to go a little bit longer than that. This is one of the things that I'll tell you over and over too. You need to educate your clients. Tell your clients that you are available to take calls from them every day, let's say from 12 to 2. Your priority 3 time when it's not really a great time to be prospecting. And tell them, I set this time aside for my clients so I can keep it organized, so I can have it free for you. And I need the other time to be out marketing your property that I've listed for you. And by doing this, and they learn to call between those times, it stops the interruptions when you're doing things like prospecting, or you're out in the middle of showing a house or in a listing appointment and your phone's blowing up from a client. Well, it won't happen now because those clients know that they should call you during that 12 to 2 time. The final thing I want to go through for today, and habits of highly successful realtors, is totally different subject, but it's about scripts. So my agents, we all do what's called script mastery, where we come in and we rehearse the scripts. We rehearse how to talk to a for sale by owner. We rehearse how to talk to an expired listing, sphere of influence. We do an entire production of the listing conversation where we come in, we'll use an office pretending like it's a house, have the person show up at the door, knock, put some sellers together and have them go through and do the entire thing. All great stuff. And if you don't have a script partner, you need to find a script partner and get in touch with that script partner every day, 20 minutes, half hour, and review scripts. This will make you better. It will make you stronger. It'll help you to be more confident, and you won't get, when you go and speak to a client, you won't get flustered. You'll go right through and do it. But one of the things that I always tell people, and I've written a lot of scripts, my brand has a lot of scripts. Any script that I give you was not written by you. It was written by me or someone else that writes scripts. The point is those scripts are not in your words. They're in my words. They're in the person that wrote the script's words. So what I tell people is not to memorize scripts. I have an African gray. He repeats anything you tell him. That he doesn't know what sometimes he does, but a lot of times he doesn't really know what he's saying. He's just repeating something that he found funny or something that just he heard enough times that he repeated it. I don't want you to be like a parrot. I want you to have things in your own words. So what I always tell people is when you get a script, take that script and put it into bullet points. Find all the key points in there and put it out in bullet points. And don't learn the scripts, learn the bullet points and put the bullet points in your own words. By doing this, what's going to end up happening is you're going to now own these scripts. They're going to be your scripts in your words now, right? And you're going to feel comfortable. You're going to feel confident. You're going to know what you're saying. And again, this is what top agents do. This is what top realtors do. Yeah, they sit there and they start with a script that somebody else wrote, but then they tweak it and they make these bullet points and they make the script their own. So they own the script. And they know exactly what they're saying when they're saying. They know if somebody comes up with an objection, and we'll talk about objections in a later podcast, but when somebody comes up with an objection, they will know. They'll easily know this is what I say because they're engaged in the conversation. If you're using your words, you'll be engaged in the conversation. If you're using somebody else's words, it makes it really hard. Well, thank you again for listening to the Guru's Real Estate Agent Coaching Radio. We come at you every week with a new podcast. So just subscribe at any of the places where you subscribe to podcasts. We are there. Also, don't forget to follow me at America's Gurus. Again, I put videos, training videos. They're usually 2 minutes, 3 minutes. They're very short, but I put those up throughout the week. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, you name it, I'm there. So find the place that you'd like and look me up, and we will talk to you again next week.